Well, some majors, looking at you, Barrick, have seen their cost structures blow out in the first quarter while production materially deteriorates. Others have been a lot more steady as she goes. Kinross, unsurprisingly, falls into the latter category. After nailing their guidance in 2024 and given record gold prices, they continue to work to pay down debt, maintain low costing, and overall, they just demonstrate that they're an adult in the room, which really is all we're asking for here. Guys, we're talking Kinross, we're talking Q1 earnings. Let's dive in. Kinross in the first quarter of 2025 recorded top-line revenue of $1.5 billion, a 38% improvement year over year from the $1.1 billion recorded in the first quarter of 2024. The figure follows total gold equivalent sales of 524,000 ounces, a marginal improvement over Q1 2024 sales of 522,000 ounces. Attributable gold equivalent ounces, however, totaled 507,000 ounces, a decline from 522,000 in the prior year, with attributable sales reflecting Kinross's 70% share in the Mon Cho operation. Production costs of sales were up 7% year over year, moving from $513 to $547 million, while depreciation, depletion, and amortization expenses increased by roughly $17 million to $288 million year over year. The rising price of gold, however, more than offset these slight increases, leading to operations earnings growth of 195% to $570 million. Net earnings attributable to common shareholders saw an even more dramatic increase, rising 244% to $368 million, or 30 cents per share, from $107 million, or 9 cents per share in the year-ago period. On an adjusted basis, net earnings attributable to common shareholders rose from $125 million, or 10 cents per share, to $364 million, or 30 cents per share. Net cash flow from operating activities, meanwhile, rose from $374 to $597 million, while attributable adjusted operating cash flow went from $426 million to $676. Free cash flow more than doubled, ballooning from $145 to $371 million. Moving to the balance sheet, cash and cash equivalents rose to $695 million, with Kinross repaying the remainder of a $200 million term loan during the quarter. Total liquidity is said to sit at $2.3 billion as of the end of Q1. Net debt, meanwhile, declined to $540 million. A 3-cent per share dividend was declared for the first quarter. And while no buybacks occurred during the quarter, Kinross's normal course issuer bid program was renewed at the tail end of March, with the company dropping $60 million so far since the start of April on buybacks. Current guidance calls for $500 million in buybacks to occur over the course of 2025. Okay, so let's get into the production data. Total gold equivalent ounces produced in the fourth quarter rose from 527,000 ounces to 530,000 ounces. Attributable gold equivalent ounces produced, however, was down, falling from 527,000 ounces to 512. Things were rather vanilla this quarter in terms of production, with higher production at Fort Knox following Mon Cho coming online in the second half of last year, offset by lower planned production at Round Mountain and Tasiast. Paracatu was the largest producer during the quarter, responsible for 29% of production at 147,000 ounces, followed by Tasiast at 138,000 ounces. We should also note here that Tasiast has seen their mill come back online following a mid-April fire, with the event said to not have an impact on annual guidance. In terms of costing, attributable product cost of sales per equivalent ounce sold came in at $10.43 an ounce in Q1 of 2025. Versus $982 in the prior year, while attributable all-in sustaining cost per equivalent ounce sold rose from $13.10 to $13.55 an ounce, with the rise here believed to largely be related to the rising price of gold, which increases the amount of cash paid out on a per-ounce basis. Lastly, Kinross says they're on track to meet annual guidance of 2 million ounces of gold equivalent on an attributable basis, at all-in sustaining costs of $1,500 an ounce, plus or minus 5%. Of course, we can't talk about Kinross without talking about their development projects, specifically Great Bear. Permitting continues to proceed for the project, alongside the AEX program. The AEX program, which is short for Advanced Exploration, is nearing completion on detailed engineering, and procurement continues to move forward. Earthworks is continuing following construction beginning in Q4. For the main project, detailed engineering is currently focused on the mill and key site infrastructure, with major process equipment procurement expected to begin later this year. Their impact statement for the project is still in progress, with discussions ongoing. Continued exploration, meanwhile, will result in 50,000 meters being drilled at the project this year. Development work also continues at the Round Mountain Phase X project, with infill drilling completed on the upper zone and now focused on the lower zone. A resource update for the project is expected by year-end. Exploration at the Curlew Basin project, meanwhile, is focused on resource upgrading and near-mine extensions at Stealth. Underground development was launched again during Q1 to push the decline deeper and provide access to drill test potential extensions to the Stealth and Roadrunner zones. Technical studies and detailed engineering remain ongoing. All right, so let's wrap it up. The first quarter of 2025 was a rather bland quarter for Kinross, but that isn't a bad thing. They're performing in line with expectations, maintaining costs, and they're just overall getting things done, which is exactly what we ask of them. Unfortunately for us, that doesn't always make good video content. In any case, we need more operators like Kinross to bring investor dollars back to the industry. All right, everybody, we got lots of earnings videos on our channel right now for you. So if you're into mining earnings, you gotta check out our YouTube channel. Also, if there's stories you want us to cover, please let us know in the comment section. And if you haven't already, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching, everyone.